My name is Aladosu Adenike. I am the founder of Finally Climate Action Initiative. And so the climate crisis is no longer a threat, but a reality. And at the same time, climate change exacerbates other crises: food insecurity, hunger, displacement, migration, and even conflicts. And now the recent report from IOM mentioned the fact that this era have witnessed forced displacement than any other era. And we might also witness more millions of migration globally. This tells us the fact that we need to act on the climate crisis. And the report review a lot that we need to know about how climate change is one of the major factors when it comes to migration. Instead of the fact that 2020 alone accounts for 281 migrants. At the same time, it's more than the figure of 1990 and 2 times that of the figure of 1970. And so it tells us that the crisis keeps getting bigger, and the more the climate crisis gets bigger, the more we witness migration. That is to tell us how important that we need to act on the climate crisis, because nobody chooses to be a migrant, and it's nobody's choice to be a refugee as well. And so for us to solve this crisis of migration, displacement, food insecurity, conflict, we have to include the factor of the climate crisis. How do we deal with this crisis? That people will be forcibly displaced with no option than to run for their life. Sometimes they lose their livelihoods, and a lot of crises. And so that is why we don't have to wait until when the climate crisis gets to the point of loss and damage before we act. Because these are crises that we are seeing now. There might be another new crisis that the climate crisis will pose in the next decade to come. And that might even be devastating than the migration that we are seeing today. And these are crises that bet another crisis. Before now, we don't talk about democracy, on how climate change is affecting it, but now it's now an increasing discussion of how climate change is affecting our democracy, and it could lead to the fall of our democracy if we don't act, because the essence of our democracy is to protect human rights. But when we don't have a conducive, safe, protected environment, how do we protect human rights? The ability to have clean water, education, a lot of factors, food security, and a lot of which we are having a lot of crises, the flood, the drought, and a lot of issues that affect human rights. And so this is why we need to include or factor in the climate crisis in dealing with every issue in our surrounding. And we should also know that if Africa is not safe, Europe is not safe, and nowhere is safe until everywhere is safe. And this is the time for us to act. Thank you.